One of the biggest problem that I think young entrepreneur facing is the fact that they didn't do their market research, they didn't test their ideas yet, and they just assumed that the product or service will be needed and demanded by customers, and they go right into launching a business. They take obligations, financial obligations, and then they see reality of the market, or they get a feedback, because as we know, sales don't lie. If you don't have a sales, you don't have a business, and that's number one problem. You have to test your ideas prior launching a business. You have to see if there's a demand, you have to see how the market reacts. People and markets sometimes not even ready for some of the innovative ideas. And I've seen that over and over. It comes to market way too early, too soon, and consumers is not ready. I remember back in those days when online shopping was launched. And at the beginning, buying clothing online was so people what? I will be buying clothing online? I can accept that. How can I try things? And yet, so a lot of entrepreneurs fail at that early stage, at the end of the 90s and beginning of 2000s, because market was not ready until Zappos actually was innovators in that market, because they were selling shoes, and what they came out is the policy that you could buy as many shoes as you want, and you can return them free. So you could try them at home and then return back the ones you don't want. And if you don't return the shoes within a time frame, you get charged on your credit card. And that idea all of a sudden revolutionized the market, and people were all of a sudden open to buy shoes and clothing through online with the exact same policy. But at the beginning, some of the online shops failed miserably because people were staying back and were not ready with this whole concept of shopping online. So in a way, the world teaches you, and we've seen it over and over with electrical cars, with the technology, artificial intelligence. Sometimes the market is not ready, or the consumers are not ready. They just need to get used to this whole notion of new technology coming into our day-to-day life. And that's okay. That's okay. We just need to get comfortable with it. So, and if you're too soon to market or too innovative, the product and company might not work. So that could be tested right before the beginning. So that's my recommendation. To start your business while you're working, first of all, I think I've already touched base on that. So I think it's important not to quit your job. Do not quit your job. You're going to have to test some of the ideas while you're still working and you have a security. That's the most healthiest way. And I encourage people not to dive right into entrepreneurship without having a firm basis and knowing that this business will be a good foundation to carry you forward. For sure, you have to test your ideas first. For sure, you have to take your ideas into the market and see if there is demand on your product and service, and then launch it, and then start slowly setting up your foundation. Find the right money that needs to carry you forward. You also have to prepare yourself financially and have a buffer that will carry your family and yourself forward for the next, let's say, 6 to 9 months. Let's say if you decide to dive into the business full time, so you do have a financial buffer that will carry you through. So usually if you have everything tested and everything is in order, and you do have financial buffer set aside, launching a business, I would say that it's normal that if you do it, of course, from scratch. I'm not saying if you have some investors lined up, but let's say if you do it from scratch, usually it takes anywhere from 6 to 12 months to start getting paid from your business. That if you executing and you on plan and you working full-time on your business. So you need to be able to have money aside to cover your day-to-day expenses for the next 6 to 12 months. So you are not stressed and you are not having a panic attacks, because you have to be fully immersed in the creativity of your business, because the first 6 to 12 months will be for sure you will need some endurance on that. So yes, that's my recommendation. So do not quit your job. Prepare everything, strategize, test your ideas, take them slowly in the market, put your toes in the water, test the temperature of the water, get the feedbacks for potential customers. Once everything aside, slowly set the foundation and then gradually start working on your business, and gradually you could quit your job and start getting paid from your business that you launch. The movie that really influenced me a lot that I've seen, actually, I already had my first business. It was an event planning company, Classic Events in Montreal. And I was working with this group of ladies. They had like a private club. It's called Deserving Divas. And one night they told me, it's like, oh, we are actually watching a movie, and would you like to join us to see this movie? I'm like, what movie? And it was a movie, The Secret. And The Secret is an incredible movie that really, I just sat watching that movie and I was like, really? You could do it like that? This is possible? You could work with your mind, with your thoughts, and with your attitude and your core and your spirit to achieve the results and the goals that you want. I really want to try it out. Wait, this is like, I need to try that. And so I was super intrigued and I wanted to test all of the ideas myself. And later on the same year, I decided to bring the movie The Secret to Montreal and show it in my university. I was attending Concordia John Molson School of Business at Concordia University, sports marketing program. And I decided to do a screening to students, fellow students, so they could learn about this whole secret, because it was very trendy. Oprah was showing, talking about this movie. A lot of people were talking about this. Ray Dalio. So many different investors were coming out and talking about. There are quite a lot of range of speakers in the movie itself. So I was very intrigued and I wanted to be part of this whole trend. So I contacted the producers and they gave me the rights to screen the movie at Concordia University on one condition. I could do it for free. Actually, they gave me the rights to show the movie, but I cannot charge the cover admission, the admission tickets to see the movie. So it has to be absolutely free for students, for general public to attend. So the next, I went to the university and I was super excited, and the university says, sure, you can have the theater hall for 2,000 people, but you have to cover the cost of the projectionist and the technician who will be putting the movie on. So there was some cost, and I didn't want to pay it out of my pocket. And I was like, such a great idea, but there's some cost to it. What I'm going to do with all things? So the idea came to me quite actually all of a sudden. So in the movie Secret, there is a part where they talk about gratitude rock, about this father. He's sharing a story with a friend about his sick child, and the friend recommends to him to they pick some rocks by the river, and he gives it to his friend and says, every time you empty your pockets with the change and you have this rock, you touch it, think of all the moments you're grateful in your life, including having your son and your family and the health and everything. And that becomes a ritual, gratitude ritual for this man, which soon triggers a whole bunch of other events of curing his son. His son became well and so forth. So I said, well, we can continue this tradition. And so I went to Dollarama the dollar store in Montreal area. It's a great chain, and they had a beautiful river rocks that were selling in bags for aquariums, for fish tanks. And so each bag contains about maybe 100 to 150 rocks. They were beautifully polished. So I decided to buy a few bags. So I think I bought like 5 to 8 bags. They were very heavy. Each was like about maybe 3 to 4 kilograms, heavy bags of rocks. So $5 investment in general, let's say. And on the day of the screening, I put together a big silver platter and put all the beautiful rocks on the platter. And I put a big bucket next to it, and with the signs, and one gratitude rock, $1. Pick which one speaks to you. And just left it right at the table at the entrance to the movie theater. And as the people were leaving, they could see the table as well. So we sold out that day of all the gratitude rocks, and all my inventory just went out of the window. People were so enlightened with the story that, of course, they wanted to have their own gratitude rocks. So I made few thousands of dollars that day, and so I was like super enlightened. I paid the technician, and of course I had the projectionist, and I had some cash left for myself, so I was super excited about that. And so I did several more screenings of that movie, and every time it was a sold out event for the gratitude rocks. It was such a hit, so I made some of my first couple of thousands of dollars from selling the rocks. And later on, some of my friends were making fun of me because I became one of those that girl that sells rocks, and people could not believe it. And I would invite them to come to see the movie, and at the end of the movie they would come and say, I just came to see and say hi to you and see how you're selling those rocks, because I couldn't believe it when I heard the story. So that is my little story about the movie The Secret. And throughout my event planning career, that business, I ended up actually one way or another meeting all the speakers at the movie, and ended up working or learning, taking courses from those speakers throughout my career, which gave me a great joy. So I ended up meeting every single teacher from that movie personally. So yeah, so that's my story about the movie The Secret, that with the vision I get to manifest all that.